We are all set to go. So this is something new for us. For those of you that have never joined us before, I've actually never done this, so we're going to try this tonight. I am simulcasting on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube all at the same time. So here we go. So anyway, so we're here today to talk about office hours. I'm going to be here for an hour, so from 5 to 6. And if you want to I have all my comments set up so that I can see all of them at the same time. I'm going to pin a comment here. Let's see here. Let's try again. Chat disconnected, reconnect you. Successfully connected, successfully connected. Let's see here. I think we're good on YouTube. It'd be great if somebody could come in and try and chat because I'd love to see. Okay, live chat. Yes, we want live chat, not top. Okay, there we go. Fantastic. We are live there on YouTube. We are now live on Facebook as well and Instagram. So this should be interesting. So here we are for office hours. We're going to pin a comment on here. Hello, whoever's just joined us on Facebook. We're simulcasting on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube tonight just to see. This is office hours with the Adams-Mann team. Tonight it is just me, just Kimberly Adams-Mann. And let's see, we're still adjusting some of our technology here. All right, there we go. This is the first time we have ever attempted this. So Instagram, I'm really sorry because you're being simulcast on my iPad and it just wants to keep moving. So I got to get that steady. We had it steady earlier in the day when we did our trial run. So let's make me a little bit smaller. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to put a comment up here and let's see if I can pin a comment on Instagram. I don't know if that's possible or not. Let's see here. Office hours. Ask any questions you'd like. Post. All right. So this is office hours. Let's see here. Here, office hours. Ask any real estate. Ask any question. Hey, Rachel, it's nice to see you there. You're on Facebook with us. Awesome. I'm getting kind of set up still a little bit. Ask any question you'd like about real estate. Oh, you left. All right, we're going to pin that comment right there. I don't know if you're still there, Rachel. It said that you left, so that's kind of sad. Let's see, we're going to lower that down. We don't really need to. There we go. Nope, there we go. All right, awesome. So we are back. We are live. We are connected on YouTube. We are connected on Facebook, and we are connected on Instagram. So ask any questions you'd like. The first thing that we'd like to talk about today is talk about some wealth building. I've been working on some stuff that has to do with building wealth. I've got my list of trivia, not trivia, but my list of topics here on the side that we can talk about. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat, please. There is a little bit of a delay from when you do that. So actually, let me do that. Let me see if I can edit these comments right here. Maybe I can edit it. There, let's see here. There is a 5-second delay on here. So give us a chance to say hi to you. All right. There is a little bit of a delay usually on Facebook. I don't know how well it does on Instagram. I've not done a long live Instagram before, so I don't know if that takes a while to get in or not. One of the things I want to do is I do want to turn down our telephones here in the office because we don't need those. In fact, can I mute it all entirely? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like I can do that. But I'm going to turn down, excuse me a minute while I turn down Russ's phone too. That way we're not disturbed by any questions that, or any phone calls rather. So we're only 5 minutes in, so we got loads and loads of time. We are going to, let's see here. We're going to share this. Oh, that's a shame. All right, I'm going to say something here on YouTube. Write your questions or comments in the chat, and we are happy to answer them. Let's see here. There may be a delay in broadcast, so be patient. All right, I can actually see it. There we go. New, easier moderation. Yeah, I got it. All right. So, let's see. What do we want to talk about? Let's see here. Oops, I should probably go back to Facebook. I had Facebook laying over top of YouTube. All right, so we're going to talk about wealth building first of all. So I've been actually extrapolating out some interesting things, and I just figured out the other day how for most people, if they want to be worth $100,000, they can do that by the time. Let's see. We're going to Instagram. We're going to leave you for half a second here, and just see if we can get this to stand more upright, so we don't have to be so big and see so much of the ceiling. All right, there we go. So we've worked out this system where an 18-year-old could be worth 100,000 or more by the time they are 30. So by the time you're 30 years old, you would have the ability to be worth $100,000. And I've got all the math worked out. It starts off, and this is somebody who works a minimum wage job. Now, there are a couple of caveats to this. First things first. Hello, whoever's just joined us on Facebook. It's nice to see you. Don't know who you are. It hasn't showed me, but that's okay. So the first thing that is kind of important to know, let's see, we'll go back to this so we can see both of them. Awesome. That way I can see if somebody comes in the room on YouTube as well. So I've worked it out math-wise that there is a way for somebody to be 18 years old, and by the time that they are 29, be worth $100,000. I'm not joking. And it does have to do with, I said, a couple of caveats. One caveat is this. You probably don't have any children by the time you're 18. And that sounds really sad that I even have to say that, but it does require some self-discipline, because and quite honestly, if you have children before you're 18, it would be difficult to discipline yourself. But you will need to live very strictly for at least 2 years. And you'll be living at home with mom and dad. But for most 18-year-olds, that's not that big of a deal. But you can do this working a minimum wage job. All right. So what you do is, and I've got the math all worked out so I can show you how. And when I say minimum wage job, I'm not talking about $10 an hour minimum wage job. I'm talking about $8 to $9 an hour minimum wage job. So most minimum wage jobs do better than $8 to $9 an hour. So, and when I say minimum wage, I mean like entry-level jobs like, McDonald's, etc. It will require you to work 50 hours a week. But 50 hours a week is almost nothing if you're an entrepreneur, because 50 hours a week is, and I'm talking about 2 part-time jobs where you're working like 30 at one and 20 at the other. So you're not necessarily going to have health benefits or any of the grand things. Look, if you can get one for 40 and just pick up another 10 hours doing something else, fantastic. But I'll tell you that I worked part-time for Domino's Pizza and part-time for Time Warner Cable. And with that money, I bought my house. Now that was back in 2007, or sorry, that was back in 2012. Yeah, 2012, 7 years ago. And prices of houses were a lot cheaper, and I bought it for cash, but I only paid $13,000. I had to bring $11,000 to closing, but I only paid $13,000 for the house itself, and I paid cash. It was livable. It had a functioning bathroom, it had a functioning kitchen, it had functioning bedrooms. Have we done a lot of work since then? Absolutely. In fact, at the moment, we're renovating our dining room, and we today had a box come, which we've already cleared out because it was looking really messy in the background. But that box has our new dining room chandelier, because the whole ceiling is down and the wall is down. We needed to make sure the chandelier is going to work in the wiring before we get moving along with this project. We might have to remove or change some of the wiring out. That's what we're thinking. So we want to know that before we put the ceiling up. Do we have to change out wiring? So anyway, so kind of where we're at right now, but I've got a plan that extrapolates out. And with getting a mortgage, you buy at the age of 20, after you've built up your credit, because you've got a couple of things, and we talk about what those two things are. After you've got a couple of things, hello, I don't know who's joined us here on YouTube, but welcome, welcome, welcome. I can just see one person watching, and that's the best I can see. So anyway, so if you work it out, by the time, so working a minimum wage job, saving some money, having to spend some money to live, you got to have a phone. If you are staying with mom and dad, you really need to be paying them some room and board. That's understandable. You need to have a car, because you cannot work two jobs for sure for a short period of time and not have a car. So you got to have a car. So there is money being spent in there as well. You have to pay taxes. You have to do all of that stuff. So and welcome whoever's just joined us on Facebook. We're simulcasting on all three, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram right now. So anyway, once you have those things in place, you've got to have a job or two. You've got to have a car, and you've got to have a phone, because you need to be able to call in and get your schedules and communicate with people. After 2 years of the savings plan that I would have you on, you would be able to put a low down payment down and purchase a duplex. Once you purchase that duplex, you move into the one part of the duplex, and you start taking the money that you were paying mom and dad to live at home, and you start putting it on your mortgage. You also rent out the other part of the duplex, and when you do that, you are then paying the mortgage and then some. So then you're paying then some and then some. And then you're also paying an additional on top of the mortgage once a year. When you get that tax return, you're taking $1,000 of it and you're throwing it on your mortgage. Just $1,000 once a year. That's it. Nothing extra beyond that. Taking $1,000 and putting it on your principal. After the span of 9 plus just under 9 years, or just over 9 years, so when you're 29 years old, because you've bought this when you're 20, when you're 29 years old, you will have paid off that duplex. Now, if you paid $100,000 for that duplex and now it's paid off, well, good for you. And I'm not talking about a crappy, horrible duplex. I'm talking about like a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, decent place that you're renting out for $700-800 a month, the one unit, and you're living in the other unit. That's like a decent, $100,000 for a duplex is a really decent duplex. It's not a really crappy one in a crappy part of town or anything. But then by the time you're 29, and so that means, look, if you want to get married at that time and add your spouse to this plan, and the two of you start putting double income into it, you're going to pay that off even faster. But let's just say it's just you all on your own. Or let's say you do get married, but wife's working a little bit and you've got a kid. Well, okay, those kind of things happen. But by the time you're 29, you should be able to have it paid off. And then that rent from that upstairs unit is total free and clear profit. That's it. That's total free and clear. That's now income for you. I mean, not total free and clear, because you do need to maintain your property, but the majority of that, once you've paid off, majority of that is income for you. So now you've got an income producing property, and you are assets worth over 100. And by the way, that's assuming that your property does not go up in value in 10 years. Odds are your property is going to go up in value in 10 years, at least a little bit. So let's say you only go up 10, 20%. You've got $110,000 to $120,000 property that you are now getting $900 of income from. You don't think a bank's going to give you a loan for a great property? Now you want to buy that $200,000 house. Well, you either put collateral from the main house, buy the $200,000 house, Move the family in there. Your job has gone up, because if you're the kind of person who can do this, you've gotten a better job by this point. You're not working minimum wage anymore, even if you're working hard. Now you can cut those hours back to 40. Spend time with your kids. Pay off that second one. Oh, and by the way, since you moved out of that duplex is now paying for most of your $200,000 house. How? Because you're renting both units of that duplex. So really, your income is now going to pay for your family. It's going to support your family, to keep things, nice for your family, etc., and or to invest in further property. This is how you can do this. And so then by the time you get to be 40, 45, maybe you've paid off that $200,000 house now, because you've had this coming in and you've had your regular income, your wife's income's coming in. And in about 15 years, you've paid off that $200,000 house, because of course, kids, they're expensive. So it's going to take 15 years for that second house, not the first. Now you're 45 years old and you own two houses. You're worth over $300,000. You go and you buy the next house. Keeping those two houses, you rent out $200,000 house. You rent out your duplex. Now you buy house number 3, which is a gorgeous $400,000 house. And house number 1 and house number 2 are paying your mortgage on house number 3. And so then 20 years on, because of course you're going to take some of your income, but you're 45, 50, 55, and you're kind of liking to travel, and this is kind of good. So it's great. You want to do a little bit of travel, so it's going to take you 20 years to pay off that. Now you're 65 years old. You own a $400,000 house free and clear. You own a $200,000 house free and clear. You own a $100,000 duplex. All of that is assets to you. You are now worth over $750,000, and that's just in assets. And that assumes you don't have a good retirement plan. That assumes anything else. What do? You sell all those homes. You move to Florida. You move to Arizona. You move somewhere warm. Get yourself a nice little small 2-bedroom, $200,000 house. It's paid off, and you got $500,000 to protect you and to take you through your retirement and the rest of your life, and let you do what you want to do with your life. Not only is it possible, it's probable. It does take dedication. It does take a little bit of thought. It does take you actually doing some plans. Any questions for me? Go ahead and ask them. I'm live on YouTube. I'm live on Facebook, and I'm live on streaming on Instagram. Ask any questions you like. This is office hours. Hey, welcome to YouTube Live. I don't know who the second person is that's just joined us, but welcome, welcome. Please drop something in the chat so that I know who you are, because one of the downsides of YouTube Live is that I can't see who it is that's come in the room. With Facebook Live, I can see who it is that's come in the room. So drop something in the chat, and hopefully I can see it. I'm supposed to be able to see it. I will be honest, this is my first time doing YouTube Live, so I'm not really used to their format. So just be a little bit patient, but do me a favor and see if you can stick something in the chat so that I know who you are and where you are. I see there's 2 of you there, so that'd be great. So the second thing we're going to talk about today, so we've talked about how to build your wealth. If you want more information about that, contact me. My name is Kimberly Adams-Mann. I am with Shorewest Realtors, and we have a website that we run called tamthomes.com. That's tamthomes.com. It's in all of my stuff, so if you see me on YouTube, you just go to my profile, you'll be able to click on it. All sorts of great information there for buyers, sellers, people who are just homeowners. We treat our clients really, really well. We follow up with them. We get a lot of them coming back to us, and we love our clients, to be honest, and we love working with them. So we want to help you build your wealth. We want to help you live the life that you want to live in the shortest amount of time to build that wealth. And we've got some great plans for you guys to help you out with that. But today we were also talking about, on our blog, we published a new blog post about kitchens versus living rooms. And if you've been on Instagram, you've seen this. And kitchens versus living rooms. So here's a question for you. If you want to put it in the chat, if you hadn't seen the blog post yet, tell me, what do you prefer? Do you prefer spending time in your kitchen, or do you prefer spending time in your living room? Which one do you spend the most time in, or which one do you think you spend the most time in? That's what I should really ask. Let's see if this will tell me who the participants are. See, this won't even tell me who the participants are. That's just crazy. Just looking on YouTube Live, because it does say, oh, wait, Maybe we can do that. We can pop out the chat. Got it. That's even better because now I can see the chat a little bit. Yeah, nothing to see here. We've popped out. That's funny. All right, we're kind of playing around with the YouTube a little bit here. But that's awesome because now I can see the YouTube chat really easily. All right, so the second thing we want to talk about is what do you think? Living room or kitchen? Which do you prefer to be in? Hello, whoever's joined us on Facebook Live. We are here doing office hours. Ask any real estate questions you have or just chat with us about what we're chatting about. Today we're talking about living rooms versus kitchens. Where do you think you spend the most time? Put something up in the chat. Let me know. What do you think? Do you spend more time in the kitchen or do you spend more time in the living room? We did a blog post today about this. You can go to tamthomes.com and see what the actual statistics are from across the country. But just kind of curious as to you, what do you think? Where have you been? Like, what have you done? Do you spend more time in the living room or in the kitchen? Also want to drop a little bit of information here. We've got 2 listings. One of them's brand new yesterday, only hit the MLS today. They're actually quite similar and yet different, which is awesome because we love to have 2 properties that have very similar properties to them and yet be able to kind of bounce people back and forth. If you prefer a 2-story, then you're going to want to see our one on 723 Grove Avenue in Kenosha. I'm sorry, in Racine, 723 Grove. Awesome 2-bedroom property, really big master bedroom. So even though it's a 2-bedroom, it's got a really big master bedroom. It actually looks like it used to be a 3-bedroom at one time because it's got 2 closets in the master. So good chance that was a 3-bedroom home at one point because of the way the closets are arranged. And you can almost see in the ceiling where maybe there was a wall. It has been made into one big master bedroom. So if you did want to make it into a 3-bedroom, I don't think it'd be really hard to do that. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, great deck, amazing backyard at 723 Grove. It is absolutely stunning. The seller of that property actually considered listing it in the fall. So he went in and he cleaned up the whole thing, made it look pristine. You actually will see pictures. If you go to tamthomes.com and look, scroll down the page and you'll see our properties there. If you look at 723 Grove, you'll actually see some pictures from last autumn when he had the cleanup done and when he was working on all of that. So that's really amazing and super awesome. So that's 723 Grove. That's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. We also have a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath. The new one that dropped yesterday is 1529 Russet. Oh, before we go on to Russet, do want to mention 723 Grove is eligible by the census tract and through Chase Bank for $2,500 towards the purchase of the house. So if you are thinking you don't have a whole lot of money to buy it, well, you need to come over to see 723 Grove because there's $2,500 waiting there for you to buy that property. Now, 1529 Russet, unfortunately, is not in the same area. And both of our great neighborhoods, actually, they're very similar neighborhoods. So I'm not sure why one qualifies and the other one doesn't, but we checked and it doesn't. But 1529 Russet is of over 1,000 square feet on the main level. And then it's got a basement with a massive, I mean, absolutely massive family room down there, already finished. It could use a little bit of update because guess what? The price on 723 Grove is only $105,000 right now. The price on 1529 Russet, $100,000. Both of them great properties, lots of space, very clean. One of them has a tenant. 723 Grove has a tenant that is moving on. I'm sorry, I just got something in my eye and now it's really bugging me. 723 Grove does have a tenant in it right now, but that tenant is moving out April 1st. So if you put an offer or an in on it, you'll be able to move in before your mortgage is even done. So you'll be in a really good shape on that. So 723, hello, whoever else has joined us here on YouTube Live. It's nice to see you. We've now got 3 people chatting from the looks of it, or at least 3 people that have come in. Put a comment, please, in the chat so that I know who you are, where you are. If it's not letting you chat, then do me a favor and go over to Facebook Live because that I know the chat is working. If you are someone who knows me and can put something into the chat, I would appreciate it because I don't even know for sure if the chat is working. That's kind of a bummer to not know. So anyway, if I don't have anybody in here for a while, I may actually try and do that myself. But so we're talking about 723 Grove, $2,500 from Chase towards your mortgage costs and or towards getting a mortgage. I don't know if it counts for down payment. Might be down payment assistance actually. You can check into that. You can ask Amy Ketterhagen at Chase Bank. She's the one who's doing that. And if you go to 723 Grove, there is a sign in the front yard with her details on it. So that's there. 1529 Russet, great property as well. 2-bedroom. Again, it could be a 3-bedroom. I prefer to list a 2-bedroom. Hey, whoever gave me the thumbs up, thanks. Denisa, thank you. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So we're here to build your wealth and we're here to help you be a success. That's what we're here for. So, and we're going to try and do this every week. I don't know if it's going to happen, but we're going to try and do it. So anyway, on 1529 Russet, though, that is an amazing property as well. You got 1,000 square feet above. You got probably over 400, 500 square feet below grade. So awesome. Just love that. And yeah, so we've talked about our 2 listings that we've got available right now. We've got quite a few more coming. I've got an appointment on Friday. I've got an appointment on Monday, and I've got an appointment on Wednesday already. I've got 3 more listings getting lined up because the spring's coming. By the way, if you guys have received your tax return, this is what you need to use a tax return for. And if you need help figuring out how to save, how to get your credit back up, give us a call, because what we do is we don't actually do the credit building, but we know all the connections to make for you, and we can answer a lot of questions because that's what we do. We try to help people to build their wealth, and we try to help old or young, but I will tell you, it's kind of easier to do that when you're young, when you don't have a lot of family responsibilities and stuff. It's a lot easier than as you get older, but we'll help anyone, doesn't matter, young or old. So we've got a couple of great listings coming up. I've got one coming up in Kenosha next I don't know, maybe a month or so from now. We've got to get some things in place with them to help them out before they list their property. But great one in Kenosha. It does seem like everybody who's coming to me right now seems to be coming to me with no garage, which is insane. But anyway, every property I'm selling right at the moment is no garage with it. But they all have off-street parking, which if you're in Racine or Kenosha, that's very important to make sure you have that off-street parking. And all of them are going to be 100,000 or less. So that should be awesome. Let's see. But the next 3 won't be that cheap, unfortunately, for some of you. But for others of you, that might be a better fit. Let's see here. What else we can talk about? Oh, right. We got, we talked a little bit about kitchens versus living rooms. I don't know if you were here before, Denisa, with when I was talking about that. I'd love to know, do you spend more time in your kitchen or do you spend more time in your living room? I'd love to know which it is. What do you spend more time in? And you can go to tamthomes.com and check out our blog post that just dropped today, or you can visit us on Facebook and find it there. So we talked about that, but kitchens versus living rooms. I was interested to hear. I put this on my Facebook earlier today, and I had a kind of mixed response. I had some people saying kitchen, some people saying living room. I know in our family, Russ spends more time in the kitchen, but that's primarily because he's the one who's in charge of, like, he cooks breakfast every morning. He does dinner, not every night, but he does breakfast more than I do breakfast, or he does dinners more than I do. So probably 4 out of the 7 nights, maybe even 5 or 6 some weeks, he's doing dinner. And so, yeah, so we've talked about kitchens versus living rooms. Oh, and I'm probably in the living room more, but that's partly because I'm usually on my laptop working or doing stuff like this, doing video, whatever. We've got 2 great listings that are great for people. Any questions? Any questions about real estate? There's 2 people watching on YouTube. There's 1 person watching on Facebook. There was 1 person watching. I swear, Facebook, they come on, there's a 5-second delay. They don't see me talking to them and they disappear. I think you YouTubers are a little bit more patient. That's kind of good to know. We talked a lot about wealth building, but I'd love to hear your responses. What do you want to know? How do you want, like, what do you want to know? Any questions? I love real estate, I'll tell you that. I love what real estate does to our communities. So let's talk about that for a minute. If nobody else is going to talk, I'm going to keep talking. Trust me, Russ will tell you the same. It's going to happen all the time. So let's talk about, we talked about wealth building. We talked about, well, I'm glad to hear that, Denisa. So what's really cool is we love how it builds communities, though. And I don't know if you know this, but we it is actually a statistical fact that children who grow up in a home that their parents own actually have some of them have up to an entire grade point better grades in school. And some of that comes from the fact that if you're a renter and your kids are growing up in a rental situation and you're having to move every 2 to 3 years because your rent goes up or this changes, what it does is it adds some insecurity into their lives. And so it actually helps them to feel more secure as children. And when they feel more secure, they do better in school. I think that's part of it. Maybe part of it as well is that somebody, in order to buy a home, has to have a certain level of discipline. And if they have that certain level of discipline for themselves, maybe it's that they have their children, not discipline them in a bad way, but they keep them disciplined and keep them motivated because they're motivated. Yeah, I know it's kind of interesting information that kids do that much better in school. So when we're talking about home ownership, it does not just build wealth for you, it also builds our community. It gives back to our community. People who own houses are more likely to donate to local events. They're more likely to volunteer because they're invested in their community. They're invested in their street. I own my home and the woman next door to me owns her home. The guy on the other side of me does not own the home. He's a renter. And I will tell you that the difference between my yard, my neighbor on the one side, and the neighbor who rents, vast difference. The neighbor who rents does not maintain his property. It is like a trash heap sometimes, which is unfortunate, but he hasn't always lived there. So that's why I live there. But I still love my neighborhood. But the woman on the other side of me who owns her home, not only does she take care of her home, but she also, I mean, like recently I've seen a whole bunch of trash on her front yard, but that's because she's renovating her home, which is amazing and awesome. We love that. So anybody improving their home is great. And we've had some of our neighbors actually talk to us who are renters about buying the home that they rent because they've lived there for a while and they would love to buy that home and stay there. So kids do better in school when their parents own a home. So that's kind of interesting information. It builds our community because people have a tendency to care about what happens. Tell you a little bit of story. When I moved into my neighborhood, everybody thought I was crazy. They wanted to know why this white woman was moving into the neighborhood. In fact, some of them thought I was a cop. I'm about as far from a cop as you can get. But that's what they thought. They didn't understand why this middle-aged white woman was, buying a house in their neighborhood. What's weird with that? But I love it. I love my neighbors. They're great people. So anyway, so that's where we were. So, but when I moved into the neighborhood, occasionally there would be some people who would come around. You have to be bold. You own a house, protect your neighborhood. Get out there, be part of your community. One of the things that I did consistently is that we found that when I moved into the neighborhood, the very first year I was there, my basement had a bit of water back up into it. And I was like, this is really weird. Why is there water backing up here? This is a pretty decent, I've got the grading right. I've got my downspouts okay. Turns out because it was the first spring, I didn't know that this happened. You get ice dams along the sewer drains and stuff just gets in the sewer drains and it clogs it up and then the water doesn't have anywhere to go. So it backs up into properties. So what did I do? I was the crazy white woman out there in purple Wellingtons. If you don't know what Wellingtons are, they're like galoshes, those rubber boots. So purple wellies, nasty old sweater, garden rake, raking trash out of the sewers in my neighborhood. First of all, I got to tell you, it was a great workout. Secondly, water gone from my basement. Never had a problem after that. Thirdly, I walked up the street and did a couple other drains because I could see they were backing up. And I believe in my community. I invest in my community. Walked up a couple of streets and cleared out a couple other drains because at that point I was single, didn't have a life. What else do I have to do at 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, and February, March? So anyway, went up, I cleared out one. I got to one and I tried to clear it, and there was clearly something that was wedged way down deep inside. It was not wedged on the surface where I could get at it. So I knocked on that person's door and I said, you know what? You need to call the city in the morning and let them know because your sewer is all clogged up over here. And if that stays clogged up, it's going to put pressure on your basement wall. But that's about community. That's about educating our community and letting people know how to protect their property. Look, you own a property. I want you to keep your property. I want you to be able to use it to build your future, to build your wealth, to make your life better. why are we happy, or why are so many people happy in misery? Oh my gosh, so many people are so miserable. I can't stand that. It's like, why be miserable when we don't have to be? So um, you know, let's do things for our community. At this point, and let me just explain something, guys. I live in the city of Racine. I work both Racine and Kenosha County and a little bit of Milwaukee County in Wisconsin. So, Denisa, I don't know if you're in Wisconsin or not, but or anybody else that's watching. I don't know if you're actually in Wisconsin or if you're over the border in Illinois or where you're from. But I work in that southeastern corner, basically, of Wisconsin as far as my real estate business goes. I love this area, but I didn't grow up here. I actually grew up, first of all, I spent the first 9 years of my life in the Madison area of Wisconsin. And then my dad got a really great job up north at a college. And so we moved up there. And that's where I spent the majority of the rest of my time until I became an adult. And then as an adult, let's see, so I moved from northern Wisconsin. Then I moved to the Waukegan area of Illinois, which is right near Great Lakes Naval Base, for those of you that aren't from the state of Wisconsin or Illinois. Moved there. Then after there, I was married when I was there, and I moved to Florida. Ended up moving from Florida to England, and got rid of a husband in between. Um, moved to England, and then eventually moved back to the United States. And when I moved back to the United States, what was it? 11 years ago, I moved back to the United States. I moved back to this area, Southeast Wisconsin. I did not grow up in Southeastern Wisconsin, but I love it here. And I get so tired of people complaining about, oh, Racine sucks. Oh, Kenosha sucks. But wait, why would they? Why would you stay? Find a place you love, buy a house there, invest in your community, be a part of your community. Denisa, any questions? Or are you the one person who left? Any questions about real estate, folks? I've got nobody. This is interesting because last week we had, somebody just came back or somebody's new. Last time I did this, I only did Facebook, and I had like loads of people on Facebook only. I've had no following on YouTube yet. We're really, really new on YouTube. You'll see that we have a lot of videos to educate. You'll get to know Russ a little bit better because Russ has his fish and chips series that's very consistent. I have my ABCs of real estate, but we're only up to C, A, B, and C. That's been published. D's already in the can and just waiting to come out next week. But so D will drop on Monday. His next fish and chips will drop on Friday. So check out some of our videos. We also put up our listings. We do little videos of our listings as well, or at least some of our listings, and that will be up on Facebook as well. So that's up on Facebook rather. So that's also up on YouTube though. So it's interesting because I've got more people watching on YouTube this time, and pretty much almost nobody on Facebook, and not a peep out of my Instagram tonight, which is crazy because I'm on Instagram a lot. So if you have any questions, concerns, I am here until 6 p.m. this evening, which is another 22 minutes. So if you have any questions and want to ask them, this is the time to ask them. No question is stupid. And that probably comes from my background in teaching, that I don't think there are stupid questions. That's just kind of the way it is. Wow. This is really interesting. Got a ton of emails pouring in right now, but we're going to leave those alone until 6 o'clock. So yeah, so if you guys have any questions, I see there's a couple of you on YouTube that are watching. Don't lurk. Let me know you're here. Our blog post on TAMThomes.com this week is about kitchens versus living rooms. Which do you think you spend more time in? Put your answer in the chat. Let me know. Do you think you spend more time in your kitchen or your living room, or none of the above maybe? But out of those two, which do you think it is? Those are the two top ones in the United States. And they are very close to each other as far as which is more popular, which people spend more time in. I'll give you a hint though. It is hundreds of hours that we spend in the one that's the winner. And if you check me out on Instagram, which is the Adams-Mann team, you will see the answer to that on my story. Mm-hmm. If you go to TAMThomes.com, you will see a great blog post about the top 5 kitchens in homes under $400,000. And that's kind of interesting. Let's talk about that for a little bit, because it was really hard. I wanted to do a top 5 under 250,000, and I started looking around. I could not find 5 kitchens under 250,000 that were photographed nicely. Not that there probably aren't some great kitchens out there, but I couldn't find any that were photographed nicely. Hey, we got 3 people watching on YouTube tonight, so that's awesome. Let us know you're here. Drop us a line. Do you think you spend more time in the kitchen or the living room? Which is it? We've got another 20 minutes for office hours. Write your questions or comments in the chat. We're happy to answer them. If there is a delay in broadcast, just be a little patient. I'm not really sure how YouTube Live works. I know that on Facebook Live, there's always like a 5 to 10 second chat difference. So, hey, we got 4 people on YouTube now. It's really picking up on YouTube. So ask your real estate questions. Make your comments, even if they're rude or obnoxious. I'm okay. I want to know what you're thinking. What do you think about real estate? Do you think real estate is a great investment still? What do you think? Obviously, I think it's a great investment, but not everybody does. So we're talking about real estate. We're talking about, well, I'm in the state of Wisconsin, so probably primarily you guys are as well, or at least you wouldn't have clicked on this. Actually, we didn't say that we were in Wisconsin, did we? All right. Hey, it's 3 people now. Woohoo! Considering that before today I had absolutely 0 subscribers, I'm actually really excited about the fact that I have 3 people actually watching a live chat. Especially when we were testing earlier today, we were on for like an hour testing the equipment to make sure everything was fine, because we were running simulcast on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube all at the same time right now. And we've never done all 3 of them before at the same time. So we had to kind of work out the technology. And I was on YouTube for an hour plus, just broadcasting as a test to get things like that took us that long to kind of get things going. And then it went in the background and I forgot about it. So kind of sat there and kept recording and recording. So anyway, any questions that you have? We talked about wealth building. We got some great ways to build your personal wealth. We talked about kitchens versus living rooms today. We talked about 723 Grove Avenue, $2,500 from Chase Bank, available to help you buy that house at 723 Grove Avenue. 1529, and it's only $105,000 to start with, so that's kind of cheap. 1529 Russet is our brand new one that just hit the market yesterday, hit the MLS late this afternoon, got the pictures uploaded. It's an amazing, awesome listing. Both of them are actually. Grove is a 2-story and Russet is a single story. It's a ranch style home. So what's amazing is that they're very similar homes, except for one's a ranch and one's a 2-story. One has a really great open kitchen dining room area that kind of flows into the living room with an amazing backyard. The other one the Russet has a smaller backyard, very large front yard, but a smaller backyard. So keeping it real here. Talking about my listing. So 723 Grove Avenue. Awesome, awesome, awesome. 1529 Russet Street. I don't know why I said avenue on my paper here, but Russet Street. Hey, there's 3 people watching now. Anything we can answer for you? Any questions, concerns, anything to do about real estate? We'll be happy to answer those questions. Not kicking up so much on Facebook, but man, YouTube's burning it up tonight. And we're taking a poll. Do you think you spend more time in your kitchen or your living room? Which room is more important to you? At the moment, my living room is more important to me because we are getting a new sofa delivered tomorrow. Woohoo! So I've lived in my home for almost 7 years now, and I bought a used sofa off of a client about 4 years ago, I think it was, and really have never bought a new sofa for my house. So this is really big for me. This is kind of exciting. I know that's really pathetic. Most people buy a house and then they buy sofas and they buy things like that. Yeah, I'm kind of cheap. I like to save my money. I like to travel. And those of you that follow my channel, you will find that there will be some travel stuff on there as well, but probably not as much this year. It's going to be mostly real estate this year. We're really focusing in on real estate, and we're focusing in on fixing our home, fixing our backyard, just fixing that stuff up. So we've got another 15 minutes or so here on the simulcast with Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube Live. And if you guys have any questions, concerns, anything you want to know about real estate in general, I can probably answer it, even if it's in a different state. I do attend all of the National Association of Realtor conferences. There's one annual one every year. And of course, I also attend the WRA conferences. But I get to know a lot about real estate. I'm also part of a national group called Curator. Don't know if you guys are familiar with Chris Smith, but he's awesome. And Jimmy Mackin and all of them over at the Curator guys. We're part of that, which is a national system, and we get, it's really collaborative. It's really, really awesome because you have all these amazing people who collaborate with you to help drive you to be the best agent you can be for your area. So we love, love, love working with Curator. Costs us a little bit of money, but man, the payout is good. It's just like, and the payout isn't necessarily in our paycheck. The payout for us is in improving ourselves and bringing better service to our clients, because that's what we're all about. If you want to know how we handle our clients, I'd be happy to answer any of those questions for you. So just let me know. What do you want to know? Or are you guys just so up on real estate that you know everything about real estate and you don't need to ask any questions? That could be. I was pretty knowledgeable, obviously, when I got into it. When I started selling real estate, I had already done quite a bit of sales. My parents actually renovated homes for a living, so I came into it pretty knowledgeable, at least as far as structure. But the biggest thing I want to do is I want to use real estate to build our communities, because especially in Racine and Kenosha, we've got some areas of our communities that are really fallen down and really need a hand up and really need a help up. And even though we love our big expensive homes that we sell because they keep us in business, but I actually get just as much of a kick out of selling somebody. Well, I closed on one in February that was, we sold it for them for $57,500, but the important thing was they were able to buy a better property. They already moved up the ladder one notch. They bought a super cheap house, they renovated it, they did a little bit of work, brought it up a level, and then they were able to sell it on and take that money on to the next house and upgrade their lifestyle. So that is what we do in real estate. We make sure that people build their wealth, build their future, build our communities. And I think there's no better communities than in southeastern Wisconsin. We're casual, we're laid back, we're not too stuffy and uptight, but we also are, we're kind of good people over here. So if you've never been to southeastern Wisconsin, and if you don't know where southeastern Wisconsin is, well, Milwaukee, if the three of you that are watching are not from this area, Milwaukee is just on the north side of us. So from Milwaukee down to the border of Illinois, and then right below us is Chicago. So it's kind of awesome because we're right in between a small big city, Milwaukee, and a big, big city, Chicago. And speaking of Chicago, I should give a shout out, because one of the reasons that I'm doing all of this and that I have become so comfortable on camera is thanks to a couple of people in my life who are great real estate mentors. And one of them, actually two of them are in Chicago. Marky Lemons Ryle. Whoop, whoop, Marky. I may tag you in a post right here just so you know we're on. And another one is Terry Watson. That is a man who says, don't worry about what anybody thinks about you. You do you. You do you. You do it, and you do it well. So that's one of the reasons why I do these office hours. Might be a little bit boring right now because nobody's asking questions. Comments are kind of old. I'm not even sure if Denise is still around. But so Marky Lemons Ryle and Terry Watson, both amazing speakers at the National Association of Realtor conferences. And then one of my third favorite people, a third mentor, I would say, is Lee Thomas Brown out of North Carolina. She is actually just announced that she's running for the 9th Congressional District or something like that over there. She will be amazing. So I'm really excited to see where she goes with that. But she is very big on building her community as well. And so is Marky Lemons Ryle. Both of those women are definitely powerhouse real estate people. And if I'm even half the person that they are, I would be ecstatic. So give a shout out to Marky Lemons Ryle, who has inspired us all to do social media and to do it as well and as often, and to not worry about what other people think and to just do it. Because if we wait until we're perfect, or we wait until everything is right, we'll just never do it. I don't need anybody's permission to get on here, and I don't need anybody's permission. We're going to throw away that shot because we're on Facebook Live and we're on YouTube Live. So don't answer calls at that time. We got another 10 minutes here. If anybody has any questions for office hours, we will try to do this once a week. We'll see how it goes. It's kind of interesting that YouTube's lit up tonight and Facebook isn't. So I'm thinking, and Instagram, okay, Facebook, I've had people popping in and out of it at least. Instagram, total dead. Totally, completely dead in the water on Instagram. Nothing happening there. And interesting enough that YouTube is the one that's kind of popping because I don't even know if I have any subscribers on YouTube. So this is great. I love this. Any questions about wealth building? Nobody's told me whether they would prefer kitchens. Like, what is the most important room to you between the two? Between kitchen or living room? Nobody's even given me a vote. Come on. Say something in the chat. What do you think? What's your favorite? I know Russ, my husband, the other half of the Adams-Mann team, Russell Mann, he loves the kitchen. He doesn't love our kitchen so much right now, but we're working on getting that fixed for him so he can. So, yeah. What do you guys like? Kitchens, living rooms? What's your favorite? Tell me why. Because honestly, you really want me to just keep talking? I mean, I know my voice is not terrible, but I kind of like to hear what you guys have to say. It helps me to be a better host if I have conversation going back and forth. So feel free, drop something in the chat. Let me know what you're thinking about real estate. Last week we had somebody on. Hey, whoever's on Facebook, welcome, joining in. We're only here for another 10 minutes. Well, actually about 8 minutes left now. So drop us a question if you have a question, and we'll be happy to answer that for you. Yep, and then they're gone again. They are really, really fast in Facebook. They don't stick around. Got 8 minutes left on this office hours today where you can ask any real estate questions you might have. It's not as hard to get a loan as you might think. It's actually a lot easier to get a loan than you might think. Do you have here's a question for you guys. How many of you guys own a home? I see there's 3 people watching on YouTube. How many out of the 3 that are watching own a home? Just drop a yes, I do, or something like that in the chat if you own a home. If you don't own a home, drop in the chat, no, I do not currently own a home, and I don't plan to, or I'd love to, or whatever it is, whatever your current situation is. I know some people think they shouldn't buy a home because they don't want to be tied down to a place. I got a solution for that. You don't have to be tied to a particular place, and you can still build your wealth through home ownership. My duplex plan. You want to know something about that? Drop me a line. You can either drop me a line here. You can go on to tamthomes.com. That is our website. And we work for Shorewest Realtors, and we run our TAMT Homes is our team, basically. And the reason it's, for those of you that don't know us very well, TAMT Home stands for the Adams-Mann team, which is myself, my husband. We have an assistant who sits right behind me over here when she's in. She does not do cameras. So we make sure that when we do office hours, she is not here because she does not want to be on camera, but that's okay. She is an amazing assistant. She does a really, really great job. We love her contribution to our team. She's actually a new assistant for us. She's only been working for us for a few weeks. And so we're pretty excited and really happy with the job that she's doing. But right now, the Adams-Mann team's only the 2 of us and our assistant, but we're always looking to consider hiring other people as well. So if you're interested in getting into real estate, now, if you're interested in getting into real estate, but not in Wisconsin, still answer some questions for you, because there are some things that are kind of universal. A lot of people don't realize that it costs a lot of money to be in real estate, because let's start out with the fact that you are self-employed. So if you're thinking about jumping into real estate as a real estate agent, love what you do. Don't do it for the money. Do it because you love it. The money will follow the love. And that's actually true in any profession. So the money will follow the love. If you love what you do, the money will always follow that. My husband and I actually love working with people. We love building our community. We love selling houses. We love helping people build their wealth and move up to the next level. And we love seeing, I don't know, it's a little twisted. It's a very interesting kind of relationship because you get really close to somebody really fast and you learn a lot about them because you're learning about their finances, you're learning about their personal life because you got their kids that you're dealing with on showings and things like that. So you learn about people really, really quickly. And the best part for us is that we don't think that we should leave you after closing. We are there as a support system for you to answer questions, to do follow-up. A lot of times my customers, when they're filing their taxes, will be like, "Hey, Kimberly, I can't find my stuff from when I bought the house or when I sold the house. Can you shoot?" Yes, we can send that to you because we always keep that information in our system here. Shorewest keeps it up at their corporate headquarters as well because that's required by law. But we keep a copy of a hard secured copy, not connected to the internet kind of copy here in the office, so that if you need it, we can send it to you. We can send you your documents. Let's see. Got about 5 minutes left, folks. Maybe even less. 4 minutes left, actually. Any questions? Any information that you're missing? Heck, just tell me your name. Just say, hey, or give me a thumbs up so I know you're here. At least then I know your name. I'm at a disadvantage. My name is Kimberly Adams-Mann of the Adams-Mann team. Probably didn't say that enough because the Adams-Mann team, Shorewest Realtors, doesn't really have that. So, hi, my name's Kimberly. What's yours? We are live on Instagram. It's not looking very good on Instagram. Looks like YouTube's going to be the winner tonight because you all are definitely here, and there's quite a few of you that have been sticking around all night. So that's really amazing. We really love that. I love the fact that I've seen quite a few of you popping in and out. Uh-oh, I just didn't lose the chat, but I covered the chat up. There we go. So we've got about 3 minutes left. 3 minutes left in this simulcast on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. What do you guys think? What do you want to know? Office hours, here we go. Office hours, 5 to 6. Hopefully every Wednesday. As long as I don't have an appointment. I guess I could make sure I don't have an appointment. At the moment, I do feel like I have enough appointments. And now here I get really quiet. Got about 2 minutes left, folks. Anything you want to say? Thanks for coming tonight. If you want more information about real estate, go to tamthomes.com and tamthomes.com. We've got some new listings on there that are just dropped this month, and we've got a new blog post every week. Oh, so here's how Instagram works. You're only allowed to go Instagram Live apparently for an hour because I just got a timer dropped on me that says I only got 1 minute and 46 seconds remaining, and then we're done. So looks like Instagram's got a time limit. I've never done Instagram Live for this long before. So that should be interesting. So minute and a half left. And like I said, go to tamthomes.com if you would like some more information, tamthomes.com, or you can see us on the Adams-Mann team.shorewest.com. That one's a little bit harder to find, but if you search us, you Google us, you'll find us. We're everywhere. We've had a lot of people calling us for listings and to work with us buyers because they found us on Google. We're very Googleable. That's a really hard word to say. So we got 1 minute left in office hours tonight, folks. 1 minute and counting. Thanks for joining us tonight. We got 1 minute left. If you have any quick real estate questions, go ahead and ask them. If you're on Instagram, you're going to get cut off in 50 seconds. But if you have a question, go ahead and put it in the chat on YouTube or Facebook. I can stay on and answer that if you have a question. Otherwise, we're going to cut off in about, well, when Instagram cuts off, if you don't talk, I'm going to leave. But we will be back next week. I'm going to do office hours probably once a week, at least for a while here, and see how it goes. Hey, we got 4 people now. Welcome to office hours. We are about to end, but if you have a real estate question that you want to ask, then feel free to go ahead and ask it. I will stay on a little bit longer. 15 seconds left on Instagram, but I can do the world on YouTube if you want. So that'll be up to YouTube how long it lets you stay on. But any real estate questions you have. Otherwise, thank you guys for joining me. This has been Kimberly Adams-Mann of the Adams-Mann team here at Shorewest Realtors and tamthomes.com. And thank you so much for joining us. If you want to join us next week, we will be here again live from 5 to 6 on Wednesdays. If you want to know more about us or just want to know more about real estate, check out our YouTube time slot here. We've got we have the fish and chips that Russ does. We have the ABCs of real estate that I do. Those mine drop every Monday, his drop every Friday, and we're going to try and do this live broadcast every Wednesday. Heck, if we can do more, we will, but we still have to sell real estate and take care of our customers too. So it's been great this evening, folks. If you do have a question afterwards, of course, we will happily answer it. But otherwise, you guys have a great evening. Thanks so much for joining us, and this has been a real pleasure. Bye.